Okay, so I do recognize some names, some folks I've worked with before. Thank you, everyone. So for those who still, who haven't heard of me, so I'm Dr. Ed. I run Ed4MedUS.com. Started this last year and working with residency applicants to help improve their personal statement, their CV, and also help with interview preparation. Okay, so few things. Like I mentioned, I've been working with some of you in helping improve their personal statements, and thanks so much for your, for allowing me to help you all out. I've been getting the second drafts and the subsequent drafts, and they're certainly looking much stronger. So really, really hope this effort will help improve your chances of getting into residency, at least, getting an interview offer. That's the first step. So this year, it's all virtual interviews, and I have all your questions here, so I will answer all of them. I'm going to be starting, the virtual interviews, the practice sessions. I'm going to start that on the week of September the 14th, so just another week. Just need a little bit more time to finalize the questions and the scheduling piece. But typically what I do, and kind of what I did last year, was, once we have the session, it's about 30 minutes long, is the interview, where I will ask you questions about you, your CV, and you're going to also, it's going to be like a real interview where I ask you questions, you answer back. And at the end of the 30 minutes, that's when the interview session ends. And then following that is the feedback. So I will give you feedback right then that, okay, this is something we need to improve upon, or this needs to be said in a different way, or we need to come up with a stronger example, and just try to help guide improving the answers to some of those questions. And everything is recorded, so you will get a copy of that whole, 1 hour or so session, so that you can review it again if needed. And so that works out. It worked out well last year, and I'm going to be doing pretty much the same, except that this year I'm going to be introducing more behavioral questions and situational questions to kind of, because I believe that's how the programs are slowly moving towards. And I'll kind of answer that in the in some of the questions that you you asked. So today's agenda, I'll first work on answering the questions. I hope I can get through all of them in the next 30-35 minutes, and I'll have about maybe 10 minutes or so to maybe hear from you and answer any more questions you might still have, and we'll go from there. All the questions that were asked, I'm going to put on the chat window so that people can read if they want. So the first question was, why should I choose you? So that's a very interesting question. The reasons why I would say, my service is different is because one is about myself, because I do have experience working in residency selection committees, interviewing residents, international medical graduates, U.S. medical graduates for residency and fellowship positions. I'm in an academic medical center. So I kind of know what programs are looking for. I know what program directors and faculty are looking for. Plus, I know the common mistakes that residency applicants make. And being an international medical graduate myself, I kind of have that perspective of, okay, it's very likely this error is going to be made. So I kind of do my part in trying to prevent you from making certain errors in your interviews. The interview sessions that I'll conduct this year, at Ed4MedUS.com, like I mentioned, it's all going to be recorded, so you can watch it again if you have, if you want to go back and see how we performed. It's sometimes nice to see yourself in that actual interview and see, how your facial expressions were, or or how your hand movements were, and those kind of things. So it's kind of nice to get feedback. And like I said, it's called a mock interview or a practice interview. It is like an actual interview, and you get feedback right at the end of that 30-minute session. In the past, what the residency applicants I've worked with have said that it really helps them get lower their anxiety when they actually go for the interview. So and it prepares them for some of the commonly asked questions, and overall I feel that really helps with your interview performance. Because remember, everything that you did, all your research, all your teaching, all your clinical work experiences, everything's gonna fall flat on the ground if you're not able to, if your performance on the interview is poor. And because this is where they're really going to test your interpersonal skills, your communication skills, and assess your confidence and passion in the specialty that you're applying to. And if you do a poor job, then everything that you did, all the years of effort, are just going to go down. Your chances will really go down. So that's why I've chosen to focus on personal statement reviews and interview prep, because that's something I really feel I can help a lot with. Those are some reasons. Other things, I like to keep my feedback very constructive, not judgmental. And lastly, affordable. I do know what the prices are, on other services, and my goal is to keep it affordable. I know everyone's already in a lot of debt, so keeping it affordable is my goal. But at the same time, providing high quality is what I strive for. So that was the answer to the first question, why should I choose you? Now, the next few questions had to do with interview preparation. So let's start looking at those questions. I put it all in the chat window. So these were all the questions that were asked about how can we prepare ourselves for the virtual interviews, how one should prepare, succeed, how to prepare, what are the important aspects, how to perform well. So the very simple answer is practice, practice, practice. I mean, there's no other answer to that. The more you can practice, the more you can, put yourself in the situation, in the position of looking at the camera and talking and getting comfortable with it, and getting yourself comfortable with like Zoom or any other platform that may be used. I pretty much feel Zoom will be the most common platform that will be used. But knowing where all the settings are, I think that will really go a long way to reduce your anxiety and stress level when you actually take the interview. So practice, get your technology, like your camera, your laptop, your speakers, the lighting, everything, work on it, prepare where you're going to be doing those interviews, which corner of your apartment or house you're going to be doing that, and dress up just like an actual interview. The two things I will say is this whole thing about looking directly at the camera, that can be difficult if you have not practiced enough. So please, practice. And like right now, I'm not looking at the screen, I'm looking directly at the camera, and that can be so difficult at times, but that's how I'm able to make a connection with you all. And speak slowly, because you will see there's always some lag between what you're saying, how fast you're saying, and how it is received at the other end. You don't want to be moving your mouth too fast and then the words not reaching the the interviewer at the same time. So so that again comes with practice, and if and kind of doing these practice sessions with me or anyone else. And if you, other things you could do is, I don't know, make YouTube videos, just to kind of see how anxiety provoking just being in front of a camera and talking can be. So the more you practice, the better you will get at it. and things will be fine. The next set of questions have to do with the interview format, and so it's all here. There it is. Will all interviews be online? Absolutely. There's no question about it. All residency interviews this year are going to be virtual. There's absolutely no in-person interviews. This is, being done uniformly across all residency specialties. And so even if you're a medical student who's in a kind of a residence room next to the program director's office, even if you're local, it will be a virtual interview, whether you're a U.S. medical student or international medical graduate. You will not have the option of meeting any of these interviewers face to face. I mean, the hospital itself will not let you in to kind of, meet people. It's all because of the COVID-19, I'm sure we all know. And how would it be different from a physical interview? So yes, there are some skills that need to be learned to do these virtual interviews. I just posted a message today on my Facebook group about netiquette. That is, how we're supposed to present ourselves virtually in an interview. So yes, it's going to be difficult. Without practice, it's going to be difficult to be natural, and if you have some thoughts that you want to convey to the program director, you're going to have to practice a little bit, like I mentioned, to speak slow and do a good job with that. It's all going to be one-on-one interviews. I think there's a question there. Is it going to be one-on-one or with a team of panelists? I pretty much think it's going to be one-on-one. It's so difficult, kind of getting so many people together in one meeting room. I think that's going to be a technical challenge. So I really believe it's all going to be one-on-one. So in a way, that's good. Now, the next question is this, which is needs a little bit more explanation. Let's look at this. So does interview going online decrease your chance of getting interviews this year? Is it going to be more or less competitive? So the short answer is I do believe there are going to be more interview offers because people are going to apply more extensively. All of you are going to save money on that you would have otherwise spent on travel. So I'm pretty sure you might think of applying to more programs to improve your chances. And programs also feel that, it's going to be easier to arrange a Zoom interview meeting, whether it's snow or not, it's a snowstorm or flight delays, they can easily do that. So I do believe there can be more interview offers, but I don't believe it's going to be easier to get into residency this year. It's still going to be competitive. Programs are very smart people. They want the best candidates for their interviews. So just getting more offers, please don't get the false impression that your chances will get better. I hope it does, but let's not have that impression. Let's just strive to do our very best at these virtual interviews and, present ourselves as strongly and positively as possible and go from there. And so that would be the issue about, more interviews may not necessarily mean more chances. So please, let's not think of it that way. Okay, so someone asked a question, should IMGs travel to the US? Okay, so a lot of questions, and I'm going to answer some of them later because I have my own list of questions that I need to address first. But no, you don't need to travel to the US just for virtual interviews. Programs are very clear about that. And there is nothing new that you can offer, to a program being in the US. Wherever you are, just I would say invest in good technology, get the fastest, the most reliable internet that you can, get a good camera, get a good light, sound, background, and just kind of do your very best for these interviews. So that's where I think we should be focusing our efforts and setup. Okay. So the next question was, oh, this is for everyone. Sorry about that. Everyone in the meeting. The next question is here. How would the programs assess interpersonal skills over a video call? What would be your tips for improvement? So it's interpersonal skills here are you answering the questions as they are asked? Are you diverting and going off topic? Are you making eye contact? Are you speaking confidently? Are you interrupting them while they are talking? Remember, there's always a lag between what you speak and, so, you might want to start speaking and then suddenly you see that they're starting to talk. So you have to, make sure that you're not interrupting the interviewer. And so those are, it's basically the communication skills that, that will be displayed here on the virtual interviews. If your technology is not working or something, are you freaking out? Are you being anxious, getting angry at the program coordinator or something? Or are you very coolly and calmly saying, hey, there's no power in my town. I'm going to have to come back, could you please reschedule it for tomorrow, day after, or something like that, So it's all these are the interpersonal skills that will be assessed. And, so there is a little bit of, it's a new skill, okay? The virtual interviewing is a new skill, but just like any other skills, medical or surgical that you have mastered, this is also a skill that you can master. So, so just keep working at it. All right, next question is this. How can we make a good impression on the PD through virtual interview? How can we see if the program and the hospital suit us? So good impression, just like, just project yourself, again, very positively, answer to the point, be respectful of the time, the time that you have with the interviewer. So don't, answer some question for like 10 minutes or so. If you have to be concise in your answers so that you can kind of have the most delivered to the interviewer in the time that you have for the interview. How can we see if the program and the hospital suit us? So I understand that a lot of programs, almost all the programs, they will be working on setting up how to do your, all these residency tours. They're trying to make these videos about showing you the hospital, the call room, how fellows, residents and fellows and students are getting along with each other, interviews with residents, open houses, a lot of things are happening. I've posted many links on Facebook about the open houses. And then you will have opportunities to talk with the residents without any faculty there so that you can get a sense of the program, the place where people stay, what do they do outside the residency training. So there are good ways to get all that information. And the difficult part would be, making a decision about a program without actually seeing it. I completely agree with that. Realize it's equally difficult for the program to know you without just by a virtual interview. So it's difficult for them to, for yourself, you can have to outside the residency training, you're gonna have to look at the cost of living, where people live. Maybe if you have family, look at schools and other activities. So that a lot of stuff is there on the internet. You're just gonna have to spend time trying to understand if what you're seeing on all the information that's out there is something that you really like. So realize it's difficult for both, but just make the best use of the information out there. And there's so much information on YouTube and everything.